It's a weird analogy, but my son is he's about 5'11" now, and I'm 5'8"3/4, and he's pretty strong. I think one day he might be strong enough to beat me up in a fight, and that day I'm going to feel very similar to how I feel right now. Okay, Coach Langford did a heck of a job, has done a hell of a job all year, and it's bittersweet for me, right? Of course, you don't want to lose the game ever, but to lose a game to somebody that you love like that makes there's some sweetness in it for me. So I'm really proud of what she's done. She's earned every part of this, and there's a reason. What's that? Their 28th win? Is that right? Yeah. Not a whole lot of teams out there with 28 wins. It's hard to be consistent like that. It's hard to be complete in so many areas. So I just want to shout them out for doing such a great job and just getting the most out of their team. So she deserves a lot of credit. But for us, just tough to swallow. I mean, losing at home is never easy, but to end your season is it's unfortunate, and it is what it is. And I was proud of our year overall, and that's what I'm going to take from it. Is that we won 23 games. We had some really fun moments, and I got to watch a group really grow and get better, and hopefully push past limits that they had. Ashanti Barnes being one of those. She still owes me a 20 rebound game, and watching Peyton from, and I'm just talking about these two because they're here with me, but I can go through everybody. But Peyton going through a really tough start to the season, shooting wise, confidence wise, and that's as drastic growth as I've seen from any player ever that I've ever coached. So I'm really proud of both of these two and our team in the end, if you can get past the loss of today.
Hi, John Breeden, Daily News Record. Coach, this was such a close game all night long, and especially through three quarters. I mean, can you just tell me what you felt was working well for you all tonight and was going your all's way?
Yeah. I thought for the most part, if it was just half court, I thought we did a overall pretty good job defending them in the half court. And when we were able to just play offensively, I thought we were pretty good for three quarters, right? Even the last quarter, I thought we got great shots. We just didn't hit them. And so, the half-court game, I thought the separator for them was when we turned the ball over and they were able to have some transition points. I thought that was the kind of the big difference maker for them. And they got us, right? So our difference maker is rebounding, and we were only +4. So if we're going to be +4, we can't let their difference maker be a factor, right? We have to even out their difference maker. So what worked for us, I thought half court defense and half court offense were good enough to win. I thought the transition game was not, and the glass was not.
How are you feeling about the team's preparation just in the lead up over the last couple of days? I mean, obviously, kind of the up and down of you didn't think you were in the tournament, and then Miami drops out. How were you feeling just about this team going into tonight?
Yeah, look, I'll take a lot of that in the ownership of that. I really should have practiced us Thursday, Friday, Saturday before this week to keep a rhythm. But it's hard, man, because you practice Thursday, Friday, Saturday over spring break, and you don't get in. It's a miserable feeling, right? And so I just that's what the decision I made. If I could rewind time, that's one of the things I would do is just make us run around a little bit Thursday, Friday, Saturday, work on ourselves. Because I thought some of the stuff some of the mistakes we made today and the shots we missed were maybe a little bit of that rust was not having played for 6 days. But I don't know, man. You do it over Christmas break, and we went down and beat Louisiana Monroe on the road. So I don't know. You could argue, but that's my self-reflection, right? And that's what I do first.
Peyton, Coach was just talking about, your growth over this season. I mean, I know it was a tough end tonight, but to hear that from Coach, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, it means a lot. We took a lot of time talking and just kind of working through that. I struggled a lot at the beginning of the year with my confidence, and obviously my shot wasn't falling, so we definitely looked at the other aspects that I could do and impact the game, not just with shooting and scoring, but through my leadership, how hard I play, making the right plays, like things like that. So it means a lot.
Obviously not the outcome you guys wanted tonight, but what does it mean to you guys to be able to come back and play one last home game this season?
Did you say you guys? You want to go?
Oh, it means a lot. I mean, having the band here, the home crowd, it was great to be back on the floor at the home game one more time.
I agree. It was a good feeling to be out there and playing in front of the crowd.
Peyton, you may have actually addressed this, but do you feel like you're a more complete player after what you've undergone this particular year?
Yeah, I would say so.
Sean, from that standpoint, to watching her expansion, you mentioned, I think, already the fact you don't recall a player that had changed so dramatically in a season. Can you summarize that for us, what you see there?
Yeah, it's just I'll tell a story a little bit, but my very first workout with Peyton, I was trying to teach her all this stuff, right? So I could teach you this, and I'll teach you this move, and I'll teach you this move, and teach you this move, and the mind started. I was like, well, I'm not. It started going, right? And when her mind starts going, she gets this look on her face, like almost like a computer that's like it's got that little thing spinning, and it was like, this is a lot. And then it was like, you want to shoot some threes? And she's like, yeah. And it was like bang, bang, So it was like, okay, that's what she's comfortable with. This is the stuff she's got to work on. You got to find the balance of it, right, to make sure she stays engaged in that sense. So, yeah, I think when she first walked in here, it was like, yeah, shooter, right? Hey, shooter, stand still, shooter. Oh, she can't do this. And, I give her credit. She pulled up her high school highlight tape from just one game, right? Mm-hmm. One game. And she's doing everything. And it's like, yeah, you can do all that stuff, and I'm here to give you the tools and some of the technique to refine it a little bit. But it's amazing. It's amazing the growth physically and really mentally is probably the biggest thing for me. And the best part is we got 2 years left of this, and we spent a lot of summertime working with the ball in her hands, and we didn't unveil it totally because I didn't think it was completely ready, but we worked. We have all that work, like already logged in the computer, so to speak, right? And so now we're not starting from zero with that. So I do think another summer of that. I think that she's got so much growth before she hits her ceiling.
Ashanti, give us a little bit about your season and how you plugged into this program and what you did for the Dukes this year.
I feel like in the beginning of the season, I started out kind of slow. I was rebounding, but not how I should be. Like this game, I had 13 rebounds, which I should be getting every single game. That's mainly what he emphasizes on: go rebound, go crash. I still owe him 20 O-boards, but 20 rebounds. I'll get that.
I'll take
next
O-boards
year.
too. Yeah, I'll take that too.
But overall, I feel like I've improved throughout the season.
John, I have two. Oh, go ahead. Yeah,
totally. And she's not giving herself, I don't think, enough credit. So she's not. That's who she is too. It's like I think the key for Ashanti moving forward is like really being okay being in that spotlight. Game in, game out, being relied upon, being that consistent every game, staying out of foul trouble, right? And like, yeah, that's how you play 32 minutes. That's how you get 20 rebounds in a game. And so I think early it was, I don't want to say like, what's the safe route, right? What's going to keep me safe in here? I had a really bad experience at her former Division I school. We won't name that one. But, right, so like, let me gain my confidence here with this team. And we did, right? She didn't start in the starting lineup, and she slowly built up. And now she's, to me, she's played outstanding other than when she's in foul trouble, right? Every game she's on the floor for 25-plus minutes. She has double-digit rebounds and half the time double-digit points. One of my regrets today is like I didn't quite know how to get her the ball enough and get her shots. She's 4 for 7, 1 for 3 from 3. It's like, yeah, can I get some more shots for her? Yeah. So again, with her, I think a big part of any player, but especially Ashanti, is comfort and feeling feeling comfortable in the environment you're in so you can grow, right? And I think we've established that for this year. She should have came here out of high school, Kurt, is what she should have done, and we would be in year 3 of that right now. But moving forward, I think there's so much potential for growth there with her. And I wouldn't even say on the glass. I think the glass is part of it, but I think just offensively in general. I mean, how many 6'2" kids are there that can shoot through? I mean, you see her shoot threes. It's a beautiful release. So figuring out how many more ways can I get her that 3? How many more ways can I get her something slash into the basket? So I got some time to think about it now. But I just think you're talking about 2 people that have grown a lot throughout the year.
I have 2 more questions for you. One is going back to you were talking about being a bittersweet game today with Ashley being here. Any reminiscence of that WNIT game with Coach Brooks here? Well, I know the circumstances were a little different, but
yeah. And look, it's hard for me because Corey asked me a similar question. I don't know. I think it's a drastically different feeling for Kenny Brooks, who was here for 14 years. I can't remember how long he was here for, but won multiple championships, I think 6 NCAA tournaments, and has to come back to home. I think it's a totally different, overwhelming feeling for him than me just losing a game at home to my former assistant. So I want to give that a little different. Like, that's a different level. He also played at JMU, right? There is so many different levels to that. So I have no idea how he felt and how that, I don't know how that was for him. This was in a weird way during the game. It was like I don't care who that is, right? We're trying to win the game, but every once in a while it's like, I mean, think about it, Kurt, right? So we come out the end of the 3rd quarter, we do a little trapping. Okay, it works. I come out beginning of the 4th. We do the same thing. They hit a 3. Okay, I call a timeout late. What's she do? She does a little trapping and doesn't let me run the play. We end up hitting a 3. P ends up hitting a 3. But like it is, when you look at it, it's a very, there's mirror images in there. She's turning her back to make play calls and stuff like that. I'm calling them out anyway. It's a weird, surreal feeling. But again, I don't relate it. I really don't relate it at all to Kenny in my situation, just because, just different circumstance.
I appreciate the answer there. One final, and this has been kind of a theme all year long for you, stepping out of your comfort zone to coach this team the way that you did with all the depth that it has. And I know we're just a few minutes from finishing this season, but can you give us, because I want to kind of get this particular snapshot in time of how you feel about the way things went for you this year, and then I'll talk to you again next year about this same subject.
Yeah. Very honestly, it's one of the years that I can remember growing the most as a coach, because I couldn't figure out how to get this team to 7.5, 8 players, and partly because I think we had too many good players, and that's not a problem to have, but that's, you take last year, we have 4 freshmen and Amira Williams basically sitting on the bench all year long. And it was easier to get to that because there's 4 freshmen, right? And they had so much to learn and all that stuff. But this year I just felt there wasn't like, and I told this to somebody, but we were 29 games in, and Chloe Sterling and Olivia Mullins had played like almost the exact same amount of minutes, 29 games in. It was 588 and 49 seconds to 589 and 29 seconds. That's less than a minute separation. And sure, am I splitting their time? But if you look at their numbers, Chloe never overly separated from Liv, and Liv never really overly separated. They both brought positives, and they both had their shortcomings sometimes. But it's just such a unique group and situation, and I was forced to adapt to that based on what I was seeing and what I thought our team needed. And it was one of the harder years I've ever had, because it's usually, right, you get to that 6.5 minute mark in the 4th, you play your 5 best players, and not every game we're figuring out which 5 that is. Every single game. And that's like when you lose and you don't make the right decision, it's a much harder night and next day because eventually it all falls on you, right? It's not like, oh, those five clear best players, they just didn't get it done today, right? But there was games. She's in foul trouble. Okay, we're going with Steph this game. Okay, there's a game where Jamia, Monroe, she's got 27 points, right? At App, she's got 19, and it's like then there's days she can't. So for me, it was one of the more challenging years I've ever had in that respect. But it doesn't make it a negative. It's a positive thing, and what I'm learning as a coach is that, it's going to be different next year. And everything is different because how Caroline and Kobe and whatever other transfers we had last year, how they integrated themselves into the team is different than Ashanti and Liv and Carol and Heaven. So next year we'd be foolish to think it's the same 13 players that are coming out here, right? Heaven and Carol and Amir all leaving. We're going to have 4 freshmen and a transfer as of now. Right? How is that? The dynamic always changes, and what happens with that is the fun part of coaching. But one of my more challenging years from that perspective because of the depth of it, the whole thing.